Hey guys, and welcome to the Main Street Moments and Beyond podcast. This is Kathy.
And Brian.
And today we're going to talk about the new price increases for the annual passes. Everybody is talking about this on Facebook. It's crazy. People have a lot of opinions about it. Some people say, well, they're building a lot at Disney. It's okay. It's justified. Other people are like, I'm never buying passes again. I can't afford this anymore. And some people just are kind of don't really care one way or the other. And they're like, whatever. But in any case, it's eliciting a lot of reactions out of people on social media.
Well, what I don't get is I thought they just raised the prices a few months ago.
They did in June.
Okay, so now it is February. So
Yep.
so they raised the prices in June, and 7 months later they raised. Now, is this just for the annual passes?
Well, Disneyland did a bunch of price increases as well.
Yeah.
And Disneyland increased their ticket prices. They used to have 3 tiers. Now they have 5 tiers. I don't know too much about Disneyland, but they raised all the prices for their daily tickets and different options they have. But I have the prices here for Disney World.
Okay.
And it says here now they increased everything in June. Okay, last June, I remember we talked about it, and I actually found an article from WSVN, which is a local radio television station here, and they said that last year the Platinum Pass in June was $749, and it went up to $899. That price is now.
Now, is that for in-state or out-of-state residents?
That is in-state, but see,
Florida
it says here
resident,
that's $999, so I'm not sure about that one because I'm getting conflicting information. The Gold Pass, which is what you have, okay?
Florida resident.
Florida resident, last year before June was $609, okay? Then in June it went up to $699.
Wow, that's a big jump.
Okay, now it's going to $719. So that has gone up $110
in a year.
In less than a year, in 7 months.
That's crazy.
Okay, my pass, I have the silver pass. Last May, before the increase in June, it was $479. Then they went up to $519 last June, and now it's up to $539. So it's gone up $60.
Wow.
So, and then so on. The theme park select stayed the same. I don't know what that pass is. I've never heard of that. The weekday select went up from $349 to $369, which is just $20, but it went up last June as well from $319 to $349. So they keep increasing it little by little. So now it's gone up from $349. It's gone up $50 since last year. And then Epcot After Hours or Epcot After 4 went up again. It was originally, Epcot After 4 was $289 before last June. It went up in June to $309, and now it's at $319. So that's gone up like $40. So, or $30, or I can't do the math in my head right now. But the point is, they increased in June, and everybody was like, oh, well, they're making a lot of changes and this and that. And now they've increased it again. I don't mind yearly increases. Okay. I think that's par for the course of maybe $5, $10. But your pass has gone up $110 in 7 months. 2 increases. Mine's gone up $60. You and Emily have the gold, so that's $210 plus $60, so $270 more a year now.
Well,
for the 3 of us.
This is the thing with Walt Disney World, because there's a lot of debate around the prices, and there's 2 things. There's the daily price, and then there's the different annual pass rates. Okay, and we're annual pass holders, and we've been annual pass holders for about 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the thing, because there's a lot of crazy prices going on at Disney. The daily admission is crazy. Now, with the prices, like with the new Star Wars hotel and everything, a lot of people are saying Disney is a park for rich people.
Yeah.
Now, which it does look like it's transforming into that. But then another thing I was wondering about is Disney World, is it a park for people meant for people to visit all the time, or once or twice a year, or every 5 years? What I mean by that is, if you go a lot, the daily tickets are pretty expensive, but if you go once or twice a year, they may not be. So far as the annual passes, they're getting pretty pricey, especially for the out-of-staters, which I don't quite understand.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm going to tell you the out-of-state prices, which are really astronomical. Yeah. Okay. Now, remember, when you live in Florida, you have several annual pass options that out of state people do not have.
Yeah.
We have a weekday pass and Epcot after 4.
Mhm.
We have, and that's probably the Epcot after 4. I was wondering why they did Epcot after 4. It's probably for people that want to do the drinking thing.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I'm guessing. We have a silver, a gold, a platinum. We have a lot of options, and Florida residents can pay monthly,
Yeah.
which is what we do. You put a down payment, and then you do a monthly payment. When you're out of state, you cannot do that, and they only have 2 options. They have the Platinum Pass and the Platinum Plus. Okay, so last year, they've had 2 increases on these out-of-state tickets. Okay, you have the Platinum and the Platinum Plus. Last year, before the increase in June, the Platinum Pass was $8.94, and the Platinum Plus was $9.94. Okay,
Yeah.
in June, the Platinum Pass went up to $11.19, and the Platinum Plus went up to $12.19.
Mhm.
So now, here's the second increase: the Platinum Plus from $12.19 to $12.95, and the Platinum from $11.19 to $11.95. So what that means is, if you have, say, the Platinum Pass, okay, which is an out-of-state pass, less than a year ago, that pass was $894. Now it's $11.95.
That's insane.
$300 increase.
So you would
and the
have
other
to-
one the same, a huge bump.
You would have to go to, and it's hard to get an exact calculation because there's different types of daily passes. You get park hopper option, no park hopper option. But you would have to go to the park for 10 days probably to pay per person for that out-of-state
Well,
pass.
it's
You have to go like 10
$1,200. Okay, let's
Yeah.
go with the prices that we're dealing with now. The
Yeah.
Platinum is now $1,200,
Yeah.
$11.95. The Platinum Plus, which I'm assuming includes all the water parks and things like that, is $1,300, $12.95. So let's do the Platinum. Okay, so it's $1,200.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So say now when you buy a park ticket, if you buy multiple days, the ticket price does go down.
Yeah.
So let's say the average ticket is $100, and obviously you would need to go 12 days, 10 to 12 days to get your
Yeah.
money's worth. Okay.
And then you get your annual pass taken care of.
Right. So, right. So people typically from out of state that really are Disney enthusiasts go at least once a year, and they'll go for like a 2-week stretch.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people will come twice a year. If they live like in New York or
Mhm.
Georgia or something, they might make it a trip. I know when we interviewed Tanya before she moved there, she said they would come to Disney about twice a year. That was like the only family vacation was Disney. All the time
Yeah.
Disney, they would come twice a year. And people from out of state, like I said, they'll come for at least a week because they'll have to fly in or do a long drive, and they might come twice a year. So say you come 2 weeks out of the year total. I mean, most people work, they have vacation time. So say you do 2 weeks, either 2 weeks in one stretch or 2 weeks, 2 separate weeks out of the year. So you figure that gives you 12 days in the park. Okay. Not everybody that comes to Disney for 2 weeks or a week at a time goes to the park every day. That's a lot.
Yeah.
To go to a park every day for a week straight is exhausting. And I
Yeah.
don't think people do that. I
No.
think they might do a 4-day park hopper
Yeah.
and that. So what I'm
And
curious
then they
about
hang around
is,
the hotel.
yeah,
or they go,
relax, they
to
go
Orlando.
swimming.
Yeah. Or Universal.
right. So I'm wondering, why are they pricing out these out of town people, which is clearly to me what they're doing. They're pricing them out of the annual
Well,
passes.
maybe they want to. Maybe they
Why?
want them to buy the daily passes. But I don't.
But it's not
know.
cost effective because if you're buying annual passes,
Yeah.
say at $1,000 a pop, and you got a family of 4, that's $4,000 a year.
Yeah.
You're probably
crazy.
not always going to get to the park as much. And if you have an annual pass, you're more likely to go, stay on property, stay longer to get your money's worth. I don't see how this is a win
Well,
for Disney. I really don't.
I cannot imagine buying annual passes if I lived out of state unless I came at least 3 times a year. Like for us,
You'd have to go to the park 10 or 12 days
Yeah.
to get your money's worth.
well, Florida residents, we get a better deal. Okay, there's no
Mhm.
doubt about that. And what I love every time I go to the Disney parks about being an annual pass holder is when I pull into the parking lot and
You don't
it's
have to pay.
$25 a person, and I just go in and I show my annual pass card, and I don't have to pay that $25.
a lot of Florida
to park.
residents get that annual pass just for that
Yeah,
park.
and it's
It adds
worth
up.
it. I
It
mean,
adds up.
I go to the parks maybe twice a month, sometimes more, and over the course of a year, just in parking, I've saved a lot of money. Now the thing is, though, the out-of-state people aren't driving. In fact, Disney has done a lot to discourage people from driving, like charging you to park at the hotels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they don't.
That's true.
So out-of-towners,
Save on that.
they don't. The one benefit of being an annual pass holder that a lot of them don't get to take advantage of is the free parking because they don't have a car.
Right. Plus, if they take the Magical Express from the airport from Orlando and they go to the hotel, that's a free service for now.
I would just Uber it. I wouldn't even rent a car.
Well, that's
probably.
free, right? That's free,
yeah.
and they go to the hotel, and there's Disney transportation, which is free, so they don't have to pay for the parking. Like if we stay at a hotel, we pay for the parking now at the hotel, so that's a good thing. You save on that. Plus, if you renew your pass, you do get a 15% discount if you renew within that 90-day window. Now, I did call Disney today, and they told me that the price increase does not go into effect if you already have renewed before this date. So your monthly payment, if you're a monthly payer like we are, will not go up until you renew. And then it will renew. And he said, plus you get a little bit of the 15% discount on that. But I don't, for a family to buy the Platinum Plus, it's almost $5,200.
And plus that doesn't include food. That doesn't include
that's
hotel.
just to get in.
They're flying in.
That's right.
There's a lot, and if they're driving, they got to, there's other expenses.
Now
that's insane.
the only thing I can think of is that a lot of out of towners are Disney Vacation Club members, and the only thing I can think of is maybe they're really just appealing to those people, because I can see somebody who's in a Disney Vacation Club doing that, saying, okay, well, I own the Disney Vacation Club. I need to have the annual passes. It'll end up saving me in the long run. But the thing is, with the out-of-town tickets, you have to pay that all at once. So if you get the Platinum Plus and you have a family of 4, that's $5,200 you have to shell out. I mean, you could go on a whole week vacation for that kind of money. So at Disney World, you could get a whole dining plan probably and everything for a week, tickets and everything. And probably airline tickets and everything for about $5,000 or $6,000, I would think.
Well,
so you got to ask yourself, is it worth getting these annual passes or just going once a year and doing it up?
It's hard. I understand the financial burden it is. It's hard for me. When they raise prices these days, I don't get too upset. Nobody wants to pay more. It's not that I want to pay more.
This is a big jump, though, on the out-of-towners.
And we have been annual pass holders, like I said, for about 2.5 years.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in December.
So we're kind of new at this. And before we became, and even though we live in Florida, before we became annual pass holders, we didn't go to the parks that often. And we didn't go to the parks that often because the daily ticket prices were just getting too high, and they weren't even close to being as high as they are now, which every time I walk into the park and I see that daily ticket price, it blows my mind. Because
some days it's like almost $150.
I mean, I remember, I mention often, I remember the days of $12 getting into the park. So I've been around a long time.
Those days are over.
But once we got the annual passes, I have gone to Walt Disney World more in the last 2 years than maybe in the rest of my life combined.
We definitely get our money's worth.
So I feel like even though they've increased the prices and on our monthly payment it's about $10 more a month per pass, I feel like I get my value because I go so often. I get the free parking, which is $25.
Right.
Anytime and plus you do get discounts inside the parks on merchandise, although when I go to eat food and get something, it seems like they're always telling me the pass holder discount doesn't apply at all these places. I get a little frustrated.
That's true. It doesn't apply to a lot of food places.
Anytime I hear a story in the news about a change in prices at Walt Disney World for the annual passes, the thing that immediately goes through my mind that would be a big upset to me is, oh man, are they gonna make parking no longer included with the annual passes?
If they did do that, how would you feel about it?
I would be really upset, and I'll tell you, it used to be, until not that long ago, you used to be able to not pay. You didn't pay to park at the Disney hotels.
That's true.
If you were at an on-site hotel, you did not pay to park. And not only that...
No, an on-site hotel.
That's what I said.
Did I say
off? No, I meant to say on-site.
On-site, yeah.
If you stayed at one of the on-site hotels, and this was
Parking was free.
Not only could you park in the hotel for free, they gave you a pass where you could park in the parks for free.
That's right.
But now,
they don't do that
if
anymore.
you stayed at an on-site hotel, you've got to pay to park at the hotel, and you got to pay to park into the park
if you drive. Right.
So if they updated the annual passes where parking was no longer included, that that is so much of the value that I feel I get from my annual pass. That would upset me. But when they raise it and it's $100 a year, $100 a year or so, I can't go to the park for one day for that. And I go so much, it doesn't. I don't like it. I don't want to pay more money, but it doesn't upset me as that much.
Well, when the payments are spread out, like for our 3 tickets, when we renew in December, it's going to be about another $300 a year. So I'm not happy about that. When the payment is spread out, though, it's easier to handle. My concern is, and like I said, when you're a Florida resident, you have other options. Like a lot of people have a gold pass or a platinum. They're going to go down to silver now. And the silver pass has the same blockouts as the gold. The only difference is with the gold, you get the photo pass, which is awesome.
Which I use a lot.
That's
I use
why
the
you and
photo
Emily
pass
have
a
the
lot.
gold because of that. So what we might do is if it ever got too expensive, I would probably take Emily down to a silver and we would just have one gold member because we all go to the parks together. So you really just need one person that has that option. So that's what a lot of people are doing. They're downgrading their passes.
Well, that's another value.
So when all these people are downgrading, Disney's losing. But the thing is with these out-of-towners, okay, like I said, for the Platinum Plus and for the Platinum, the price since last May has gone up $300 a year. For one person, that's a lot. But if you got more people in your family, that's a big expense. And that's something when you really start thinking, is this even worth it at this point?
You got to go
And
enough.
the thing is, they keep increasing the prices of the annual passes. They need to give us more perks, I feel. The perks have not changed. And I think that's a mistake. Like if they're increasing the prices, they should say, okay, now you'll get 30% off when you buy something instead of 20. Now when you buy a special event ticket, like if I went to Villains Night or a Mickey's Christmas, they take off like $5 or $10. Big deal, like $5.
Yeah.
They should take off 40% of that ticket if I'm an annual. So they should offer more perks to coincide with the increase of these
What I would like
passes, don't you think?
Yeah, what I would like more
That
than
would sweeten the pot.
anything. What I would like more than anything, and I don't think Disney World will do this. What I would like more than anything is to have a pass holder lounge. If there was a pass holder, I know they're not going to do that because they got the DVC lounge and then they got the club and all that.
They do have that at Universal.
They did, yeah. It's not all the time though.
Amazing.
They do at certain times do a pass holder lounge at Universal, and it's not anything fancy. It's just a place to get into the air conditioning on a hot day.
Right.
So
and get free soda. Now, don't they have pass holder only nights too? But they don't always announce those right away. They're kind of in the middle of the week.
Pass holder night doesn't do it for me because every day's a pass holder day for me because I can get in any day I
they'll
want.
have pass holder only events, which I think are awesome. But from what I remember, they're kind of thrown in at the last minute, and they're always at night during the week. So you really can only take advantage of them if you live nearby.
They make a lot of money, off the pass holder memberships that people have, and I'll tell you, if you ever go to any of the stores, and there's usually sections that are pass holder only merchandise, and to buy it, you have to show your annual pass to check out. And people go to that like crazy.
Oh, yeah. I like the pass holder only merch.
Yeah, I was just at the art festival at Epcot, and there was a pretty large section of pass holder only.
Yeah, with Figment.
Merchandise, and people were buying it like crazy. So they do make a lot of money off pass holders, but there's a lot of perks, and the perks I can think of.
They need more perks for these increases.
You get the free parking.
Yeah.
You get 20% off of merchandise. In some locations, you get 20% off on your food.
10%.
Is it 10%?
It's 10%.
Oh, okay. You get a discount on hotels, on-site hotels. You get a discount.
Yes, sometimes.
Sometimes
if they're offering.
Yeah. So there's a lot of benefits to being a pass holder. So like I said, for my gold pass, it's gone up less than a daily ticket price. I can live with that. I just kind of ignore it. I just kind of pretend it's not there.
Yeah, but for people that are out of state,
I wouldn't buy one.
I feel it's gone up way too much too fast. Like I said, the Platinum Plus has gone up since last June. There's been 2 increases, $300 per pass.
Well, you know what?
And I really feel for the amount of money they're getting from pass holders, especially the out of state people, I really feel they need to offer more perks. The perks have not changed, but the prices keep going up.
Oh, there is another perk I forgot. You get the special pass holder entrance at the parks. And I know that seems...
Ooh, ring-a-ding.
No. That gets you in faster.
Sometimes.
And I didn't realize this until I was at the parks a couple months ago. I don't always go to the pass holder entrance because the line is longer than the other lines. And
you just said you get in faster.
You do. I didn't realize this until recently. Our daughter told me this.
Oh, okay.
She said, let's do this. The pass holder line, even though it's longer, sometimes people laugh, oh, they just want everybody to know they're a pass holder and they're waiting in that longer
That's
line.
kind of true.
No. The pass holders go so often, they get right through the line. They scan in, they know which finger it is, and they're in.
That's true.
If you go through the regular line,
sometimes they don't know what to do.
There's fewer people. They got their kids. They don't know what finger they use.
Yeah,
they don't know how to, it takes long. So even the so I know it seems like, oh, it's longer. You just want people to know. No, you actually get in faster in a longer line in the pass holder line. That's a good benefit.
That is a good benefit, but not worth a $300 increase.
No, not worth.
Okay, they need to, like I said, up their game on the perks.
Yeah.
I would love a more pass holder only events that are like, they plan way in advance, and definitely a bigger discount on food and merchandise. And I really would like to see, and I know this won't happen, I really would like to see a bigger discount on the special events, because I don't think it's fair to ask somebody to spend, a family of four, $5,200 a year for an annual pass. And then if they want to go to Mickey's Christmas, they got to blow another $500 just to get in. I think that's crazy.
As an example, they just had Villains Night the other night. And how much is Villains Night?
For the three of us, it would have been $365 with our $5 off per ticket.
Okay, so it's $115 a ticket or close to it to get into Villains Night.
Well, and then they add taxes on top of it too.
So
it's ridiculous.
We were going to go to Villains Night, and we didn't because I can't justify that extra cost. And I'll tell you, Universal Studios.
That's too much.
I'm not a big fan of Universal. I love Halloween Horror Nights. And Universal Studios, though, we recently did not renew our Universal passes because we don't go that much, but we might. When we became annual pass holders at Universal, they ran a special in Florida. It was on like Coke cans or Pepsi cans. It was on soda cans that you would get 15 months instead of 12.
That's right.
So we did that. And what they do at Universal Studios Orlando, there's two things that they do at Universal Studios Orlando, and we will probably become annual pass holders again next time we go. It just expired. We're not going to go for a while, so we're going to wait to renew till we go again. There's two things that Universal Studios Orlando does that it makes it worth it, okay? One, you get free valet parking, which is $50 if you pay for it. And, it's like...
That's a great perk.
It's better than preferred parking at Walt Disney World because valet parking, you are right there at the entrance, okay, of their City Walk area. And boom, I use that every time. The other thing they give you is when you're an annual pass holder at Universal Studios Orlando, you get one free night at Halloween Horror Nights.
If you have the preferred pass.
With the preferred pass. So we get the preferred pass. It's not the biggest pass because that pass doesn't include the water park, but we get the preferred pass and we get the valet parking and we get free admission for one night of Halloween Horror Nights, which I think, and you also get discounts in the parks on merchandise.
Yeah, and they have an annual pass holder area to hang out.
They do, and you get discount on the Universal hotels, I believe.
You do
too. So and it's a lot less money, but they're a little more hungry than Disney at Universal for people. They're not as busy.
I agree that Disney should. This is my opinion, but I know they won't do it. I think whenever you get an annual pass, okay, and it can be a certain tier. It doesn't have to be the silver, but say you get the gold or platinum, okay, pass. They should give you one free event night. Pick your event. It can be
for the year, yeah.
It could be a Halloween event. It can be an after-hours event.
Christmas.
It could be Villains Night. It could be Christmas. You get to pick one event a year, and you use that pass. Now, with Halloween Horror Nights, you have that option with the preferred pass. They give you a free Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, that's huge.
But the only problem is in October, those nights, you have to go on certain nights.
Yeah.
And in October, it's only on Wednesdays and like Mondays. It's not on the weekend. So you and Emily always have to go the first Saturday of November.
Which is fine with me.
Or in September.
Because it's included. Yes,
right,
we go
but
September.
It's included in that pass.
Or in the beginning of November. I don't mind that. I don't care because it's included. Yeah, that would be a great... Well, see, the thing with
Disney should do that. They give you one free
they don't
pass.
Have to.
Well, they don't. The parks are more crowded than ever.
A lot of people don't realize at Walt Disney World in the 80s and even in the 1990s, sometimes Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom would close at 7 o'clock at night. People don't remember this. So there have not been... There was a time when there weren't crowds like there are today.
I remember being at Magic Kingdom in high school with my sister and my dad. This was not a rarity. This was common. And one night we were there. My whole family was there. And my dad and my sister and I stayed late to ride Thunder Mountain Railroad. And this was like 8 o'clock. There was nobody. And the park was
Yeah.
open till like 9 or 10 that
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
There was literally nobody. We rode on that ride 6 times in a row, up and boom, up, down. I know there's some nights like that. Rarely I see people that live stream, but not like it used to be. Now the park is crowded all the time. Now, in the evening, sometimes it dies down after the parade or after the fireworks. Everybody leaves.
Yeah.
And if you stick around till 10 or 11, you can get a lot less crowd. But back, like you said, back in the 80s and 90s, of course, there wasn't all the growth they're having now, all the changes.
That's
You
right.
could go to the park. There were lots of downtime. See, this is something a lot of people complain about now. There's no downtime anymore. Back in the 90s and 80s, there were times of the year, like you could go in January, like when Emily was little, and the park was like empty.
Yeah.
I mean, and the hotels were half price. And
when they closed
there's no
early,
downtimes now.
I can remember being at Magic Kingdom in the 90s, and the park was closing, and it was still light out, and there was not a special ticketed event, by the way. They would close the parks.
Because, it would
So,
just be empty.
what Disney is doing is they figure it's so crowded, so many people are coming, they can increase the prices because people are coming.
And they are coming.
And the crowd sizes are not going to be reduced.
Now, some people feel, I don't know if I agree with this. Some people feel that Disney is increasing the prices so they get more bang for their buck. So they get less people in the parks.
Oh, no.
But they get more money in the
No,
end.
they don't want that. No. In fact,
I don't agree with that. They want the people to buy the merch.
They want it to be just as crowded today
Absolutely.
as it with the
They don't
price
care about the
increases last
crowd
year.
size like you and I do. They'll fill it to capacity if they could, 24/7 if they could.
One of the main reasons they add new rides like Ratatouille is because every ride increases park capacity because those are buildings people are in.
They expand. Like, look at the expansions in Epcot. They're expanding all behind
That's
France.
all about capacity.
Yeah, for sure.
More than anything. It increases capacity. That's why they were going to build a second Main Street at Magic Kingdom, but then they're doing Tron and these other things.
I just really wonder why, and I'm curious for you guys to leave your comments if you live especially out of the state of Florida, why it seems that they're really targeting those annual pass holders almost to the point of discouraging them from buying annual passes. Like my pass went up $60 from last June. It's gone up twice. That's not horrible, but is it going to go up again this year and then it'll be $100? I mean, every increase adds up.
Yeah.
And when you have a family of multiple people and you have the father and mother or whoever, or a single parent, whatever, paying for all these passes, it adds up to a lot. 60 here, 100 there. But the out-of-state passes are really taking big jumps. I mean, it's gone up $300, $280, whatever, since last year. That just seems like they're really bearing the brunt of. There's a method behind it, and I don't feel that it's because they want less people in the parks, but they still get the same amount of money.
They want them to capacity.
I think they want as many people.
They figure the capacity will stay the same, and they're going to be charging everybody more money.
Is.
They don't believe me. They do not want less people in the park.
It's just as busy as ever. But a lot of people do say on these threads, if you're watched on Facebook, a lot of these groups, or on Twitter, or whatever, a lot of people say they're not renewing their passes. But people might say that, but they might, when push comes to shove, they might not follow through because they might just love Disney so much they don't care.
People that don't renew their passes probably were not going to renew them anyway. They don't go to the parks enough.
I don't know, though. A $300 increase if you have a family of 4. I mean, you might think to yourself, well, is it worth another $1,200 on top of what I'm paid last year? Do I go to the park enough? Because you start calculating in your mind, okay, how many days do I have to go to justify this expense? And I know the economy is doing well, and that's great, and everybody's, doing well, and people are traveling more, and that's fantastic. You still budget yourself.
How much is my Gold Pass?
Your Gold Pass now.
I really don't. I black out how much it costs a year and a month.
Do you not want to know?
Well, no, I want to figure out how many days, including the parking of $25, do I have to go a roundabout to pay for my pass?
Your Gold Pass last May was $609.
Yeah, so
and
it's
then
going
in June it went up to $699.
Okay,
so
$700.
Went up $90.
And now it's going to be
now it's $719.
Okay, so
it's
$719.
gone up $110.
So I need to go maybe 7 days a year to pay for it, 6 or 7 days, because I'm going to include the parking, $25 a day.
Okay, you'd have to go about 6 days to pay for it.
That's easy. I'll do that. I'll do that in a couple months.
If the ticket is $115, you would need to go about 6 days. That's easy for you.
You got to include the parking, $25. So
I
I would say
think
6 or 7 days for
I
me.
think I break about even because I go
Yeah.
to the parks. I don't go nearly as often as you. I can only
Yeah.
go when it's cool out. And since we've renewed our pass in December, I've gone, 3 times?
Yeah.
So I really, and I get the silver pass. So I really just break about even, but you definitely get your money's worth.
Well, if they go, if they
and
go,
Emily probably breaks about even too.
when it comes time for us to renew, at this rate, they might raise them another time.
They could. That's what I'm saying. It's only February. They could raise it again this year.
We renew ours in December.
December, yeah.
So when when it comes time for us to renew at the end of this year, we may put what you can do, and we've done this, is when you call, they will tell you how many times you've swiped into the gate. You can find out how many times a year if you ask when you call the Disney number where you make reservations. They'll tell you how many times you've gone. And they know. We asked them before. One year I went 22 times the first year.
Well, if they raise mine anymore,
I don't think we'll get the pass for you. I think,
we might not.
Because you don't go enough to pay for it.
See, I understand how that's a win for Disney.
Yeah, when it comes time for us to renew, we're going to have to, what we'll have to do.
If they raise it again, I might just pay it as I go.
Even at this rate, we'll have to figure out what it's going to cost.
Yeah.
And look at whatever the daily rate is, and we may not renew it for you.
No,
we might
just
get daily passes for you because,
Because we'd still get all the perks because I'm always with you. We'd still get the free parking. We'd still get the photo pass.
That's right.
So if you're in a family or a couple, you can think about it that way. Like if you live in Florida or you travel, you might say, okay, well, of course, when you're out of the state, there's only 2 pass options. They don't have the silver, the weekday.
Yeah.
They don't have the gold. They don't have those options. So the people that are out of state are really getting the bad end of this because the prices have drastically increased. They don't get the benefit of choosing different passes. If you're a Florida resident, it's much easier to change. Like I said, a lot of people are downgrading their pass. And for me, if it goes up again, I might say, okay, I'll call Disney. I'll see them. They say, well, you've been 6 times this year.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll say, well, then I'll just pay as I go. There's no, I'm not saving anything.
Yeah.
You go like 20 times at least. You go every other week. So that pays for
I
it,
usually
of
go
course.
twice a month on average. So I probably go between 20 and 30 times a year. But every time I go, most of the time I'll go to at least 2 parks. So, that there's that park hopper I don't have to worry about, so there, I get more than my money's worth.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. Well, because you live in Florida. But out-of-state people is really the issue.
Obviously, Disney would never release this data. But I bet you they look, because everything's data when it comes to a big company. I bet they look at the annual pass holders and see how many times they go.
Sure.
And they say to themselves, oh, my goodness, we lost $16 million on parking fees this year because annual pass, it might be even higher. I just made that number up because every time you go, it's $25, and you don't have to pay the parking.
Well, not only that, I'm sure that this is what they do in corporations. They have analysts and statisticians. So what they probably do is they look at all the annual pass holders collectively, maybe say locally, okay? Maybe they just say, okay, let's look at all the annual pass holders that live within an hour radius. How often do they go on average? So then you might say, okay, average, they go 25 times a year. Like we talked to Living in Diz, we interviewed them. They go every week. That's
50
they
times
go
a year.
50 times,
50
4
times
people.
A year. Yeah.
So if they have the
That's
silver
200
pass,
times. That's 200
they
times.
are definitely more than. And the thing is, when you live locally and you go that much, from my experience, you don't buy a lot of stuff. You don't buy a lot of merchandise because you're at the park so much.
Yeah.
You don't feel the need to load up on stuff because you're there all the time.
Yeah.
You don't eat in the parks as much because you just, we'll just eat at home or grab something because you're going so often. It's not like a novelty. So I'm sure they look at that and they look at the numbers and they're like, we are losing so much money
on
these pass holders that are going 20, 30 times and they're only paying for 4 days or 5 days.
Yeah.
But, I don't mind the increase a little bit here and there. I think $300 in the last 7 months is a little too much.
It's a lot.
But I do feel, so I feel that they're really getting the short end of the stick, the out-of-state people. But I really feel that they need to up their perks for pass holders to sweeten the pot. Like I said, if they're going to increase the prices, increase our perks a little bit.
Okay, so from the there's 2 things, and you guys can write in the comments your ideas.
Tell us what you think.
There's 2 things that Kathy and I have come up with that we would like to see them add,
which probably
for
won't
annual
happen.
pass holders. Okay, one, I would like a pass holder lounge, annual pass holder lounge.
Yes.
And the second one is allow you to pick one special event a year, like they do with
part of your
at Universal. where if you're an annual pass holder, you get to go to one special event a year. It can be Villains Night, it can be
Or at
Halloween,
50%, get bigger discounts.
it can be, Christmas. It can be whatever. Pick one, you get it free. Well, free. It's included in your annual pass because you're paying for it, so it's not
or
free.
at least a 50%
I would
price cut.
like to do what Universal does.
Yeah, that'd
be
be
able to
great.
pick one event a year, and that's the one I'm going to go to.
Right.
I like
for
that.
say the gold or higher, or even if you're an out-of-state pass holder, you guys should definitely get that perk. If your prices have gone up $300 per ticket, they should definitely sweeten that pot. And also, I'd like to see bigger discounts on merch and food. Anyway, tell us what you think, guys. We have a lot of new subscribers to the channel, and we are so excited you're all here. And we're happy you're listening. Please share this show and tell everybody about it. We do regular podcasts and Disney vlogs. We have other things coming up. Thanks so much, guys, and we will see you in the parks.